thank you again for coming here this morning. So welcome to Yammer 101. I'm Shoshana Lewin-Fisher, the PD Vice President of Marketing and Communications. And with me is the always wonderful Julia Weinstein, our web admin for PD. And she oversees so many things on the site, has been in my position, and we are here to make your world with Yammer a little bit easier. Before we get into anything, I actually have a couple of poll questions so we can get a sense of who knows what, who does what, and what you know. So there's going to be 3 questions in this poll, and we'd like you to answer all 3, and there's no wrong answers. We want to know, first question, are you signed up for Yammer? The second question, fill in the blank, Yammer is. And number 3, I'd like to learn more about. And the last question can have multiple selections to it. So if you click onto the poll, you can answer the questions and then make sure to hit submit at the end. And we'd like to get your thoughts on that. So please answer. And well, we're going to be talking about all the things and I'd like to learn more about, but if there's something that everybody overwhelmingly wants to know about, we'll make sure that we include that. And if there's something that people don't really care about, maybe we won't talk about that as much. Okay, so are you signed up for Yammer? Okay, it looks like all of you are signed up for Yammer, which makes Julie and my life a little bit easier this morning. Yes, and I use it. Yes, I wish I can do more with it. Excellent. And yes, but I don't go on. Okay, great. Yammer is a great resource, and 5 of you feel it's confusing. Well, hopefully after today, you won't. That is our wishes. Okay, how to find information. A lot of you want to learn about that. How to post questions, how to find and set up groups, how to set up notifications. Some of you want to learn about profiles, and 6 of you want to learn about just getting in. Okay, well, we are going to cover all of that today, and I really appreciate you all taking the poll. That helps Julia and I as we finish and start our presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing results, and since you are all on Yammer, you probably know what Yammer is, but I'm going to do a refresh just in case you don't realize all the things that Yammer can do. Yammer is our private social network. So unlike Facebook, it's only for those who are in WRJ and Pacific District, and it is private. It is not like Facebook where Joe Schmo off the street can get in. You do have to sign up to get access to our Yammer. It is collaborative, so you can post things, post questions, resources. There's a lot of files, and we're going to go through that of leadership ideas, fundraising ideas, program ideas, governance ideas, bylaws, networking. It's a great way to meet up with women across the country. When we all start traveling again, you live out here, let's say you're traveling to New York and you are going there for an event and you want to connect with other sisterhoods, you can post and say, hey, I'm coming to this area in New York, and most of the time someone from a sisterhood is going to go, hey, I'm over there, come to my shul for Shabbat. Again, great places for ideas, and then sharing. We do so many wonderful things in the Pacific District, and there's other districts that would love to benefit from things that you do and we do as a district and you do as a sisterhood. So this is all things that can be done with Yammer. Susan asked, how long is this webinar? We should be done probably in 30 minutes, and you can hang around for the hour if you wish. But if you need to leave early, you can absolutely do that. Next slide, please. All right, so to log in, since you're all on Yammer, you probably have all gotten in somehow to Yammer. Yammer.com/Women of Reform Judaism. It's great to bookmark it so you don't forget. There is an app. If you have the app, you would log in the same way, and I can hang around later for those of you who have questions about the app. If it's been a while and you don't remember what your login is, you can always click Forgot Password. You're going to get an email connected to the email that you asked for. So that's how you're going to log in. Something to keep in mind is if you've logged in or registered for Freed with one email, but you're on Yammer with another email as I am, you'll get an invite to the email that you use to register for Freed. So if it's something like Freed or one of our conventions, please make sure to contact the person who's set you up on that and let them know that you're on Yammer, but with another email. That shouldn't be an issue with too many people. But if you have that problem, please reach out, because otherwise you're in there as two names. And it's very simple. You're on our Yammer site. So getting in is step one. Knowing what to do when you get in is step two. So once you log in, you'll see this homepage. And you'll notice that the top has the WRJ symbol on it. In this case, we're looking at Julia's screen. So you'll see Julia's picture in the upper right-hand corner. You won't see Julia if you're looking at yourself. You're going to see your own picture. The left is where you're going to find all of the groups. And Julia is in a lot of groups. And we're going to talk more about that later. The main screen, if any of you are on Facebook, that's what's called your news feed. You're going to see anything that's going on in the world of Yammer. Right now, there's something on that screen. It's a little hard to read, but it says Discovery. Discovery is things that Yammer thinks you might be interested in. Whether or not it's something you're actually interested in, may or may not be, but it's interesting things. Maybe there's some conversations that have taken off elsewhere in Yammer. They think you might be interested in that. All is going to show you everything from everywhere on Yammer. That can get very overwhelming, especially if you're not as used to Yammer. And then following is going to come from conversations that you're a part of. So if you've liked a conversation, if you've commented in a conversation, you're going to see that on following, which is also very helpful. If you don't have time to weed through everything, that'll get you on there. Suggested people in the far right corner, in the upper right, it's people who, because you're in a group, they might say, oh, you might want to follow this person. Following that person means that when they post, you get a notification if you're set up for that, or it'll show up in your following. In addition to following groups, you can follow people. Let's say Amanda Feldman, you follow her and she posts something. That'll show up in your following. Right below that is also suggested groups. So Julie's in a lot of groups, so they probably suggest a few to her, but let's say that they know that you're in a lot of groups related to budgeting or finance. Maybe there's some other finance groups that pop up. They might suggest that to you. And then below that, again, it's just a Yammer usage policy. So this is what you're going to see in your home screen. You'll notice it's the home screen because there's a little house in the upper left-hand corner. It's a little hard to see on here, but Julia's circling it right now. That's your home screen. And it does allow you, one thing under there, we're going to talk about this in a little bit. Under house, it says search. And that's how you can navigate Yammer if you don't want to keep clicking around on things, but you want to look for something very specific. That's where you're going to do that. But we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Julia, next page, please. Okay, so these are your account settings. So as you go around Yammer, you'll notice that some people have very blown out profiles. They've got pictures, you can see what their position is, and some people don't. And this is where you would go to update that. It's also where you can manage notifications and manage your password. We know people are very concerned about privacy or anything along those lines with passwords. If you ever need to change your password, that's where you go. Okay, your profile. So your profile is how people get to know you and who you are. It's awesome if you can put in a picture. It's great if you could put in info about yourself. It also makes it easier if people want to tag you in something for us to find you. So for example, when we talk about our area event coming on later this summer, I'm going to probably post something and I'm going to tag Tracy and Dion and Shari in it. So they'll know if people have questions on there. And it's much easier to find somebody if that information is filled out, especially if your name is something that a lot of people have, like Marilyn Stein. There's probably a lot of Marilyn Steins. But if you're Marilyn Stein, and I know you're Marilyn Stein, and you're the treasurer of your sisterhood, and you have your picture, then I know you're the right Marilyn Stein. So this is where that profile info comes. And later on, we're going to actually do in real time and show you what your profile looks like and how to update it. Next slide. Notifications. So I actually had somebody post this week in Yammer, I don't want to get these notifications, please take me off. Well, unfortunately, that isn't something that I can do on my end, but it is something you can do on your end. The notifications are set up so that you can learn and know anything that you want when you want it. You can get emails when you receive a message in an inbox, when you have a new follower, when you log in from somewhere else, when someone invites you to a group, when someone tags you, when there's new activity. And I know some of this you're like, whoa, slow down. If you don't want to get notifications for most of these things, just don't click it. If you only want to get notifications for certain things, you can click it. And if you're not sure, you can please ask us at the end, like, what do you think we should click? Usually I think message and inbox is a good one. And when someone mentions you in a post, you probably want to get notified about it. But again, it's based on your own comfort level and how many emails you tend to get. If you're somebody that gets way too many emails, maybe don't click as many of those programs or those boxes. So this is the start of Yammer, and you're like, but we haven't even gotten to the groups yet, and I don't even know what all these things are. Julia is going to take that part. So Julia, have at it.
Thank you, Shoshana. All right, so the groups, that's where you're going to really be able to tailor your usage, your Yammer usage to your specific areas of responsibilities in your sisterhoods or on your district boards or in WRJ, and your interests as well. So let me explain a little bit about groups. There are private groups and there are public groups. And later we're going to go to the group page. I think I have a graphic in there, but we'll do this definitely when we're doing a live demo in a few minutes. But you can tell if a group is private or public because a private group has a little lock next to it. For a private group, you must be invited to join the group. For example, our PD convention group was limited to people who registered for conventions. So that's a private group. If you're in that group, you can't tell that there's no difference in how you interact with a private group or a public group because you're in the group. But someone who's not part of that group will have to ask to be invited. So there are many private groups, like Sisterhood Presidents Group is private. It is limited to Sisterhood Presidents. Although I will say that I think past sisterhood presidents are not removed from that group. Some groups where your membership in that cohort has ended will be removed from that group. But there's some private groups where you get to stay on. So just know the difference between the private groups and the public groups. Now, the public groups, anybody can join, and all you have to do is click on the join icon on the groups page. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But if you're in any group, on the left, you can see arrows pointing to some of the groups. These are only the groups that you've already joined. Those groups are all listed in that left sidebar. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of your groups in the left sidebar, and we'll navigate to that, and Shoshana will show you in a minute, you'll see a link to discover more groups. And that's where you can browse more groups. Also, just know that when you're in a particular group, right now we are in the online programming group. You're going to see on the right a red arrow. It says I joined that group. I believe when you're in that group, you can click to join that group. You can also see the arrow that points to the members. You can see this group has a lot of members. And if you click on that little number, that will give you the list of everybody in that group, which can be very helpful. And in each group, you can click on new conversations, which is the default. When you click on your group, you're really only going to see your new conversations. Once you've scrolled through the new conversations, then there will be no new conversations listed in the group on the left. If you see the left sidebar next to Sisterhood Presidents, there's a number. 16, that means there's 16 unread conversations. But once you've clicked into the group and you've scrolled all the way down your new conversations, that number disappears. But if you want to see an old conversation, you would click on all conversations. And then in a minute, I'll talk about files and also search. Now, there is a new group. There used to be something called All Network. All Network now is gone. It used to be that you could post in All Network and that would be pushed out to everybody in Yammer. They have now converted All Network to a group called WRJ News and Info. Everybody is automatically in WRJ's News and Info, but only the admins from that group, which are WRJ staff, can post in WRJ News and Info. I'm going to make a specific request that you all join the Pacific District group. That group is where Shoshana and her team post a lot and where we can all post as well. Let me go to the next slide now. So if you clicked on that down there, discover more groups link that I'm highlighting with my cursor here, it'll open up a page called Discover More Groups. In this group, the first page will show you recommended for you. For whatever reason, their algorithms will lift up some groups that they think you might be particularly interested in. If you want to see all of the groups, you can see all of the groups by clicking on all groups. Shoshana will again walk you through that in real time. And if you want to search for a group, there's a search feature just in this group. Now, when you click on all groups, and I don't have a slide for that, you will be able to sort the groups by how many members are in the group, on the theory that the most popular groups are most important to the people who are in our network on Yammer. And or they will sort it by name or by date created. So those are some ways to be quickly looking at the new groups. And you can see a join icon here, a join link. You can click that if you're interested in joining. And when you join a group, then it'll be listed in the left sidebar when you log in. You can also create a new group. We can talk about some of the groups now. There's a Sisterhood Presidents group. There's a fundraising group. There's a programming group. When I was Sisterhood President, I wanted my VP of Development or Fundraising to be a member of the fundraising group. I wanted my treasurer to be in a group that was appropriate to her. I wanted our programming VP to be in the programming group. Those groups are topical groups where people will share who have the same interests that you have. So just know that when you join a group, it's going to be on the left, and there are many, many kinds of groups. Some for events, for example, the WRJ Israel tour. Each tour, the signups get their own group where they can bond and chat, and where files are posted and recordings are posted. And that's a private group because they paid to be on that tour. They made a donation. But our online programming group, our WRJ online programming group, has all kinds of other programs that WRJ is offering, that WRJ's partners are offering, and that sisterhoods and districts are offering. And you are free to post there. But I would recommend that you, at the minimum, join the PD group. Let's talk a little bit about posts. When you make a post, you can click on post at the top, and then it opens up what you see here at the bottom. I wanted to keep a lot of information on here, so I didn't give you every single page, but you would type where that cursor is right here in your post. If you want to add a link, you can click here and type in a link. Also, you can just paste a link into your text. If you want to upload a file to it, it could be a flyer, and the flyer could be a PDF or it can be an image. You could click here. This is the little upload icon, or you can just drag that flyer into your post. So what I typically do is I type my whole post, I type the registration link for my event, I drag the flyer in, and then I'm ready and I click post. After you click post, you'll see the flyer and the links also become active, and you see a box with the active link. Now, one other thing that you want to do when you post is you can add people here. I have an arrow here. You can add someone to notify. So for example, if I have a co-chair on my committee, I will add my co-chair's name here in this field. When you click here, it lets you start typing, and then it tells you people with that same name. Find the one you want and click on it. That person then will be notified every time anyone posts to this conversation. And you can add topics. You can click on this link and type in a topic. So let's say you're in the WRJ holiday group and you want to upload your Passover Haggadah because you have a great one and you want to share it. Then you could add a tag that says Passover. You could add a tag that says Haggadah. You could add a tag that says High Holy Days. There are many ways to tag that so that later on when people search, they can use that keyword and search across all topics and all groups and all posts. So let's look at some posting best practices. So this is the online programming group. And if you want to post something, I mentioned the Haggadah, you will first find the most relevant group to what you're planning to post. So let's say that I'm posting about WRJ's great event with the rabbis that we had last Thursday. I would want to perhaps post that first in the Pacific District group. But let's say I'm posting something from my sisterhood. I would probably post that first in this online programming group. The online programming group will reach everyone from WRJ, whereas the Pacific District group will probably reach the people who are most interested in the Pacific District group. It's an open group and we have people from other districts in there, but the online programming group, and you can again look and see how many members are in the group, and that will tell you how many people that post will reach. So find the most relevant group first and post in there. Now, you don't only want to post in one group because you're only perhaps going to reach that group. You want to post, say, in the online programming group. You want to post in the Pacific District group. You want to post in the holiday group. And maybe there are a few other groups. You can share your original post out to other groups by clicking on this share link. When you click here, it'll open up, and I'm going to show you that in another minute. It's going to open up a window where you can pick which group you're going to share it in, and you're going to also be able to type a new message. Now, WRJ just rolled out some best practices. They want you to share in a relevant group first, and then they want to share in maximum 4 other groups. So another topical group, your district group, or say the WRJ Sisterhood Presidents group. One other point just in general about posts. Every time someone posts in the group, and this is so true in the online programming group, your post that you did yesterday or the day before gets bumped down every time someone posts again. So as your event comes up, or if you want to highlight your event or bump it up in the feed to bring it back to the top, comment in your old posts. Go find your post and click reply and comment in there, and that will push it up to the top of the feed. And that's why there's some things that often are at the top, but the thing you're looking for is buried. It's because no one has posted recently in there. So use a comment to bump it up to the top. I mentioned that sharing thing. See here, this sharing link. When you click on it, this window opens up. This will let you post it in a new group. It will take that whole conversation and put it in a new group. And it will allow you to write a new message in this message box. But when you post in the new group, it'll let you pick which group to post it in. So if you're in the online programming group, scroll through here and find the other group you want to post. Click there, then write your new message, and then hit share. When you share that post in that group, it'll bring it to the top of that group's list, and then there will be a link saying view conversation. That sends you back to the other group where there maybe is a long thread for people to look. And in this sharing group is where you can share your conversation, not just to a group, but to a person. So you can send a private message about that post you just did to your co-chair saying, Shoshana, I just posted this here, go chat, go comment on it. So, or go add info to it, or whatever you want to say. So in the sharing window, you can share your post, and you can also send a private message there. We're going to briefly touch on files and documents. In each group, and again, here you can see we're still in the online programming group. You have a description of the group. You can see your new conversations tab, which I mentioned, your all conversations tab, and then the files tab. Any document that you attach to a post, or that anyone attached to a post in this group, gets filed in files, which is great because I said, you know, all of these things get bumped down eventually, but they'll always live in files. So let's say you're looking for a Haggadah. You can browse in that group for the Haggadah you're looking for if you click on the files tab. Now, when you're in the files tab, you can see all of the documents in order of the date they were uploaded, but you can resort by clicking here. You can sort by name if you click here, or you can sort by who did it or the date. So typically you'll sort by name, but you might want to do it by date. In any event, if you want to add a new document directly in here, you would do that by clicking on upload. But you may have already uploaded a document. By dragging it in, it will appear here as well. This just gives you a second way to upload. Also, you can create a new document in Word or PowerPoint by clicking on New. That will actually allow you to generate a new Word document right in Yammer. But we're usually creating our documents on our computers and uploading them. So you can upload here, or you can upload by dragging them in. Now, again, when you're in the Files tab, let's say you uploaded a document in a conversation, but you have a typo in it. Instead of doing another reply or another conversation saying, oops, here's the corrected flyer, what you really should do is go into the Files tab where we are now, find that document, click on it, and you can experiment with this. Click on the document, and it'll open that document in a new window. In that new window, it'll say upload new version, which means that on your computer, if you didn't rename it, but you edited your file, let's say the Haggadah had the wrong date, or let's say it says Chef Paul Nairns, right? That was the flyer. I'll click on that. On my computer, I corrected the date and I have the same name, Chef Paul Nairns. When I click on this one here, I'll say upload new version. When you do that, it overwrites the original version in your original post. So it puts the corrected one in. Nobody knows that there was an error. Nobody knows that there was an edit. But in the future, whenever they clicked on that document, they're going to just get the new one. That is much better, much better. You don't have to delete it from your post, and you don't have to put a new one in with an oops or a new version in it. You can just replace it. That is really a powerful tool, and I like that. The other thing is that you can put a description in for your document after you've uploaded. You can rename it if you want, and you can share the document in other places without sharing the whole post. So let's say you do a new post, you're replying to somebody in the holidays or the programming group, and someone said, can you share all your Haggadahs? Well, you posted one 2 years ago and it's in Yammer already. Well, you can do that by putting that link, right? You could say, yes, here is mine from 2015, and then post the document link in there. You're not uploading it again. You're just linking to that old one, which is very good. It doesn't clog up Yammer. The way you get the link is you click on your old document here, and wherever the link was in your browser, you just copy that and paste it in, and it'll link to that document. There are lots of more tips, and if you explore, you will learn them. So what about search? You can search by topic or keyword or person. And you can search in all groups by searching here, this search box, search in all groups, all across Yammer, not just in your groups, but in every group. But if you're in a group and you want to search for something that you saw in a group, then you would use this search box, and that would search just in the group. So this search is pretty adequate. It's not the best search engine, but if you put in Haggadah, you would get a whole of results, a search results showing everywhere where the word Haggadah appears. It's a little overwhelming, but you would just click through and see what you want. Again, let me go back to files. See, if you click on files, we're not in files here, but if you were to click on files, then you would also see a search box that would let you just search files. But let's say you just want to click, let's say you want to click on Passover Haggadah. You could put that in here, and wherever the word Passover, the word Haggadah, that conversation will appear. But also when you put that in there, if you type Haggadah in that search box, it'll open up a drop down which gives you topics with a hashtag in front of it, or a keyword with a hashtag. So any post that was tagged with the word Haggadah, remember I talked about tagging your post, those tagged items will come up in that search. If you click on that result, you'll get only what's tagged. That's a really good way to narrow it down. Otherwise, you'll get every single thing that has the word Haggadah or Passover in it. You can also search for people that way, which is handy. Now, there are other ways to engage. When you engage on Yammer, obviously you do that by posting. You can do that by replying to a post here. You can do that by clicking like. You can see Ellen Petracco and Audrey Himmelbach liked this. That's a reaction. They like this. You can engage by following. See here, you can follow this conversation. And you can also click on the name of the poster, Roseanne. I clicked on Roseanne, and this is what came up. And you can follow Roseanne by clicking here. Otherwise, let's go back here. You could click on like, reply, share, and react to the conversation here. But then I clicked on Roseanne's name. That gave me this window, and here you can follow Roseanne or send her a message. So explore with clicking on a person. You click on the online programming group, that brings you back to that group, but you can like, you can follow, and you can share, and you can reply. So you can also use emojis, and that's sort of fun. When people start to use emojis, I said, how do they do that? I don't have that on this keyboard, because you're using your keyboard on a computer. Well, here are the shortcuts for how to get to your emojis on your Mac or on your PC. Now, the difference between following and liking and how that affects you. When you follow someone on Yammer, it means you want to see messages from them in your feed, right? When you like a message, then the person who posted the message receives a notification. That's this little bell icon, will get a number next to it, and they'll see that you liked it. Like means that you agree with the idea, or that you've seen the message, or that you just like what they're saying. And of course, replying to the message is what makes Yammer so useful, because you can converse, add your ideas. You can add additional materials. It makes our interaction very robust when there's a lively conversation. A quick look at the inbox. This is the icon for the inbox. And if you have new messages, there's a number here. This was the notification icon. If there was a notification, which remember is a like, you'll see that here. When you open up the inbox, this is what you see. You can see your unread conversations. They're listed here. Shoshana had posted a conversation in a group that I'm following, and that conversation, or it's an announcement, appears in my feed. You can see here it's an announcement. All announcements appear in your feed as in your inbox. Any conversations that you've participated in, any replies to those will appear in your inbox, or anything where you've been mentioned appear in your inbox. And then you can click on private messages where you see your private messages, and can mark them all as read right here without clicking on each one. Now, one of the last things we're going to talk about is network resources. In some groups, the administrators will pin valuable resources related to that specific group. So I want to show you the online programming group, because there are two very important network resources, and sometimes more, that are posted here under network resources. In online programming, you can see the calendar of the month and another document that has the upcoming events. That goes out farther ahead. It's events that include anything that's booked but doesn't have publicity yet and isn't actively being promoted. So always look in each group at the network resources first. For example, if you were to click on governance as a topic group, which anyone who's interested in governance can be in, you might see the WRJ Constitution there as well. Any network resources that the administrator feels is valuable for anyone in that group will be pinned here to make it easy to find. Otherwise, you'd have to go do a search. You'd have to look in files just to find the February calendar. So always take a look here. For some of our events, for example, for our convention, our PD convention, under network resources, we pinned the page that had all of the links to the workshops. And so anything really up to date and interesting to everyone and of great importance will be under network resources. So Shoshana, I'm going to stop sharing now, and we can go into gallery view, and you can do a demo. When you demo, I'll spotlight you again, and you can share your own screen.
Perfect. Thanks, Julia. One thing I do want you all to know is if you're looking at Yammer on a PC, it's going to be different than on the iPad and on the iPhone.
To access files on your mobile app, you click, okay, all right, it might be hard to see. You click on the little magnifying glass, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is the search. Now look what
Oh my
opens
goodness.
up
Talk
under
about
search.
buried.
Okay, it's buried. Under search, you click on
the paperclip.
The paperclip, and all the files in that group come up. So that is where Microsoft chose to put it in Yammer. It's on the Yammer app. Honestly, just ask Google and it'll come up.
So share, that's why you couldn't find them on your iPad. So, okay, stand corrected. The interface though is not as good. The files are there, but the interface is not as good as on a desktop. You can get everything, but the functionality is a little different. So just do keep that in mind. What I'm going to do right now, and I'm actually going to give you a choice. I'm going to share my Yammer in real time. And you have the choice to follow along with my Yammer in real time, or if you want to log into your Yammer and play along on your Yammer and explore, you can do that as well. So I'm going to do that right now, and we're going to share Yammer, and then we'll take any questions that you have. Okay. So are you all seeing my Yammer?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so as we mentioned, when you come to Yammer, this is your home screen. This is my home screen right now. And you'll notice it says online programming. I'm on Discovery. It says join. I'm actually not in the online programming group, mostly because there are so many emails that come through there that I actually didn't want to have that set up. So everything that I looked at was online programming. But if that's your thing and you love that, please join the group. It's very easy. You can actually click right from here. All conversations in my network, as we talked about, loading. Pacific District's probably one of the things at the top. And you can see that I'm joined it. There are related groups. There's 165 members in it, and it takes the blurb that we have at the top of our group. So I'm going to head over to Pacific District right now. And I think all of you are on our Pacific District group. And this is what you'll see when you come to Pacific District. You'll notice that I have all conversations highlighted. If I wanted to see what was new in the world of Pacific District, it says, oh, I'm all caught up here. Go to membership. So it will basically tell me, you're good here. Why don't you check out another group? What I love to do is to keep things going and to keep things fresh. I'll ask a question. Sometimes I'll do a poll. I'll do a praise. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to praise Julia. I want to praise her for being awesome. So what I can do is you click who do you want to praise, and Julia, share what they've done. Awesome co-host on Yammer 101. And she'll be notified there, but I'm going to notify her here too. And then it posts up. And then there you go. I've just made a post on Yammer. It's that simple. When you make an announcement, and we did this a lot for convention, I prefer announcements to updates if it's really, really big, not for everything because things will get lost in the shuffle. When you say, what do you want to announce? If somebody is getting notifications of emails in that group, the what do you want to announce is actually going to be the title of the email. So make sure everything is spelled right. I learned that the hard way. Now you'll notice that I have a one in my inbox. Let's see what the inbox is. Oh, Cher actually sent me a message because we were talking about this better on the PC. Thanks as always. Thanks, Cher, because Cher was looking at her iPad. You'll notice that I can mark as read because I read it, and we're done with that. And then here's my notification. Dion and Barbara liked my message. Thanks, Dion. I don't follow Dion and Barbara, but I do follow the message that I just posted, and they like the message. So you guys can all go in and like that message. I appreciate that. Something else that helps me is if I haven't been in a group for a while is this one. So let's scroll down to leadership. And this is a great group that talks about various things involving leaders. Sometimes it's a little confusing as to leadership, governance, but you'll get the vibe of it. And it'll say new conversations and all conversations, and new conversations is one. But I haven't been in the group for a while. So sometimes you want to scroll back and look at your all conversations, because again, it's been a really long time since you've been in a group and you might need a reminder on that. We have a freed group that Julie was talking about, private groups. If you join the free group, you'll get invited to this and it'll show up, but you won't be able to access it unless you're invited. And you can ask to join and they'll compare your name to the names of people that have registered. We were talking about discover more groups.
Shoshana,
Yeah.
can I just add something? If you go back to your post, you go back that one screen back.
Yeah.
I want to let people know that they can edit their posts.
Oh,
so
yes.
Do you see the edit button there? Click on that. If Shoshana misspelled anything, she can edit it and save, and it'll update it. So just know that if you find a typo in your post, go ahead and edit it. If I open a new tab on my browser and I start typing Yammer, it automatically fills the link for my Yammer login. I'm logged in already. So I almost never have to log in. If you clear your cookies, you might have to log in again, but otherwise not.
I know some of you might be using Yammer for your work. So if you hang around a little bit, Julia is going to show you how to toggle between the WRJ Yammer, URJ, or any of the other groups that you are a part of on Yammer.
So okay. So now here is is a Yammer in my email,
The
right?
announcement, that's the title of the thing. Remember we talked about announcements,
Right,
grab
yeah,
your header?
right.
That's
This
how
is
that
how
works.
that appeared in your email. Now, if I go down and I click reply, it'll post that in there. But if I want to see it, I click here and watch what happens. My browser automatically puts me right into that conversation. So I just wanted to see how it works, the email to Yammer thing for your question, Tracy. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to respond to
Are you on your
Susan.
homepage there, or
This is my homepage.
okay?
No, that was the conversation. Remember, I linked to that in my
Yep,
email.
yep,
I
yep,
clicked here, it goes to the conversation.
And then Tracy, you just have to look on your left column
Yeah.
and then you can navigate to your homepage from
Right,
there.
because all your, any email, anything that you get a push email from is really in your inbox. Remember, because you set that up to push it to you. It won't automatically push unless in your
Right.
notifications you
Right,
said,
right.
I want to get notifications. Then it pushes it to your inbox. So
And
that's
one more-
how I got here.
One more thing, if you look in the URL at the top, it says threads, show thread ID. This is actually the thread for that particular message.
Right, and that's what's in, this link is to that thread link. Okay,
Got it.
so now let's say we're here, I'm in Yammer and I want to go to the URJ tent. Susan, the way you do it is click the gear icon, and down here, it'll show you any other networks that you're part of, including your work Yammer, if you have one. It will appear here as well. So wherever you're logged into Yammer using the same email address, now if you have a work email address and you're logged in there with one and you're logged in here with another, it won't show here necessarily. I don't think so. There could be a workaround I'm not aware of, but anyway, any network that on Yammer that you're a part of, you can toggle back and forth. So you just click on it, puts you right back. Now I'm in URJ. Toggle here, I go right back to Women of Reformed Judaism. And if you have a work one, it will work the same way, as long as I think you're logged in with the same email address. So just wanted to share that with everybody.
Okay, and we know it's almost 10, but we want to make sure to get to your questions. Feel free to keep asking. You can also, limit the notifications, and we showed you how to do that. The other way is you can say or tell somebody, are you tired of looking through emails and your Google to find an answer? Because as you saw, the resources on Yammer are amazing, and you don't have to search through all your emails. You don't have to ask, how do I do this? How do I go here? Everything's right there. And it's a 24/7, 365. 2 in the morning, what am I going to do about this fundraiser? I'm going to go on the fundraising group. So again, what Julia said, maybe work that in conjunction and send an email to somebody. Hey, I know you were looking for this, send it to them.
Right, another thing, Susan also made a good suggestion. You can actually set up Yammer not to send you a single email. So you can tell them, look, it's a great resource. You can set it up so it does not send you any emails. And then when you're working on a project, you can at least, you have a login, you at least have the ability to go in and check it out. That's one good thing. The other thing is Yammer will send you like a weekly summary of posts. So you can set it up. You can get daily, I think, and you can get weekly. So you can maybe get one post a week if you want, that gives you all the list of all some conversations that you might have been interested in that you also select in your notifications, and then you're only getting one. But I don't get an email every single time, but I set mine to give me emails like when stuff that I need to be aware of happens. But if I didn't want that, you can just not have notifications and log into Yammer whenever you want to. Now, the other problem with Yammer is it's really easy to forget to log into Yammer if you want to stay up to date. The more you use Yammer, the more often you're going to go there. So sometimes you want to share something with someone not using the inbox. You can just send them the link. If I go up here and I copy this URL and paste it into an email. If they click on it, it'll open up if they're on Yammer. If they're not a Yammer person, you'll get that other page that said join Yammer.
Speaking of joining Yammer, we know that that's a huge impediment to a lot of people because it's not, you can just go in and start. It's you have to reach out to leadership. This is how to do that. Note our emails there. You could private, if you're on Yammer, you can message us. Tina, don't worry, we'll send out the deck again, so you'll have it.
Yeah.
And most of you know how to reach me. So if you email me or if you email Julia directly, we can do that. And you can share our emails. Please don't hesitate to reach out. And if you have questions, please ask. And okay, Julia, could you share the contact screen one more time? You'll be able to share that with your members, with other people that you know that are on Yammer, because we don't want anybody to not join because they're not sure how this works.